Hello, welcome to another episode of My Life in Objects. So this is one I've been meaning to do for a while and finally got round to doing it. Just wanted to share this particular object on camera. The Guitar Player book, 40 years of interviews, gear and lessons from the world's most celebrated guitar magazine. A very interesting book. I don't know if you can still track down these. This was bought sometime in the early 2010s, I think. It's in pretty good condition. I think it was bought as new. Came out in 2007. So a very nice compendium of articles and various other things. So I thought it'd be cool to flick through this and see what is on offer. So the first section, you get this quite nice 4 decades of guitar grades. So you probably can realise that these are reproductions of articles that had been run in Guitar Player magazine over the years. And collection of, I suppose, interviews and profiles by the look of things. So some of these may not be specifically interviews, or they may be sort of put together from other interviews looking at it, but quite a few looks like they are interviews. You've got Chuck Berry, Richie Blackmore, so on. Goes through alphabetical order, and obviously there's quite a few omissions here. Interesting collection of players as well. It's all over the map. As you saw there, you've got Annie DeFranco alongside Dimebag Darrell. You can probably see the ones where it looks like a sort of Q&A are easier to spot just because of the way they're laid out, as opposed to ones which might be just quotes from other articles, other magazines, whatever. So, Tom Morello. Prince is in here. Got Johnny Ramone, Andy Rhodes, and so on. So yeah, quite a large section. Mick Ronson, one of my favourites. Joe Satriani, Andy Summers, The Edge. I've got several books which have this sort of thing in them, but this is probably the most amount I've seen in a book that wasn't specifically dedicated to just featuring articles on guitar players. A lot of the ones I've got, there are ones on guitar players, but they're in the context of or in a section and part of a book. But there's quite a lot in here. Then we move on to classic guitar player columns as well. So we've got these columns, some of which you can see do have a guitar tab in them, have music in them. So I've got music here, stuff like that. You notice the same names crop up here. This is a great book to sort of sit down with a nice beverage and just flick through. I suppose it's like almost like the guitar equivalent of a Christmas annual, 40 timeless tips from 40 years of guitar player lessons. So these are probably the ones that are more likely to have guitar tab in them. As you can see, various ones here, right, nicely arranged. Also, they've got the level they consider it to be at. And this, by the look of things, I don't know if this doesn't look like it's specifically organised alphabetically, but it looks like, is it organised? Yeah, it's jumping all over the place actually. I thought it might be like chronological, but you can see it does have the dates on it, but you can see it jumping all over the place. And we've got how to play like. These are under the same. Is under the same sort of section to some degree. Anyway, but you can see they're laid out differently anyway than the previous section. So how to play like specific people. Some of the sort of trademark licks and riffs and idioms. 101 greatest moments in guitar history, so that would be organised chronologically, and it's a number of different things here, maybe mentioning specific guitars or particular instances or particular recordings, particular live events, that sort of stuff. You know, specific pieces of equipment that may have come out. Oh, there's the pod. 50 greatest guitar tones of all time. So it's, you can see this would be track specific for a lot of these. I don't know how easy it is to, so you can see it's sort of general comments on the guitar tone. And you can see like the setup, it doesn't mention specific settings. But you can see it's talking about, you know, the sort of guitar and maybe sort of effects and a few other things as well. Maybe if it was a different tuning. 99 ways to play better guitar now. So this is quite short little pithy things. Useful. I get on to one of my favourite bits in the book actually, which is close to the end. And it's nice they sort of threw it in, yeah. So 50 stomp boxes that changed the world. Now, this is not in chronological order, it's in alphabetical. I've got other more expanded books which sort of have this in combination with other things, like there's a version, an issue of a magazine, I can't remember which magazine series it was, which is just dedicated to guitar effects and has a list like this alongside various other configurations and history things. And you probably saw my Boss one I featured in a previous episode, and I've got other books that as part of their content have some sort of, you know, historical timeline or best of timeline type thing. But I thought this was pretty cool. This is by, like, say, alphabetical order. It's through certain classic effects. Pretty simplistic in the description, but nice nonetheless to flick through that. 50 ways to record guitar tracks. So this is more organised under different sections, and then within that you've got subsections as well. I'm wondering if they sort of mashed together several articles, or this was a one-off article that was done, maybe, I don't know. Hip tip, what's the last bit here? Oh, how to record acoustic guitars. It finishes up with that. Yeah, a very nice book, well worth tracking down if you can. And this is, you know, obviously classified as a book rather than a special edition magazine. So often, I say often, these tend to be easier to track down than the special edition magazines, I find. So there we go, Guitar Player Book, 40 years of interviews, gear and lessons from the world's most celebrated guitar magazine.